Deal, and Colton Stover from Norton, Destiny Gonzalez from Goodland, Ashlyn Rose from Scott City, Duncan Bell, Easton Nicholson, and Samuel Watkins from Hoxie, Tate Blackwell from Quinter, and Shane Todd from St. Francis will all be competing March 29th at the Newman University campus. There are a few local schools that are advancing to the state basketball tournament this week. The Colby girls are going to the 3A state tournament, and their first round will be against Osage City. The Quinter girls are going to the 1A state tournament, and their first round will be against Montezuma. Sharon Springs Wallace County will be going to 1A D2 state, and their first round will be against Hanover. Goodland boys are going to the 3A state tournament, and their first round will be against Cheney. The Quinter boys are going to 1A state, and their first round will be against Montezuma. The Dighton boys are going to 1A D2 state, and their first round will be against Lebo. The Sherman County Health Department is offering CPR and AED certification through a hands-on learning course. The cost is $50 to be educated by skilled trainers. Contact the Sherman County Health Department to schedule an appointment. Are you interested in attending driver's ed? Tonight at 6:30 p.m. at the Colby High School, there will be a meeting in the auditorium for any individuals wanting information on this season's upcoming courses. For more information on this and other stories, visit nwksradio.net.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason. Talks focusing on ending the Russia-Ukraine war are underway in Saudi Arabia. Secretary of State Rubio leading the U.S. delegation in discussions with Ukrainian officials. The talks come hours after Ukraine launched a massive drone attack on Russia and in the aftermath of recent stepped-up Russian attacks on Ukraine. The House will vote today on a stopgap funding bill to avert a looming partial government shutdown. The money bill will keep federal agencies going through September. President Trump's advice to Republicans: stand united in their support of the bill. Amid legal action over the arrest, the president says the detention of a pro-Hamas campus organizer is just the start. The day after recession fears sparked a big sell-off on Wall Street this morning, stock futures have been higher so far. The Dow futures are up 89 points. NASDAQ futures ahead 59. More details at srnnews.com.
The words you are about to hear are taken from letters sent in by members of the Trinity Debt Management Program.
Dear Trinity, today I'm making my final credit card payment.
Before I came to you, I was in a constant state of anxiety and panic, but now there is hope for my family's financial future.
Working with Trinity made me understand that I'm not alone.
You really do help people.
Your kindness will never be forgotten.
Without Trinity support, I would not have achieved my lifelong goal of becoming debt-free.
We saved a lot on interest and penalties, of course, but the reward was the gift of human kindness.
Trinity has carried me through a very difficult time in my life. You're amazing.
I used to feel so anxious and hopeless. Now I feel grace and peace.
God bless Trinity as you continue to help others become debt-free.
If credit card debt has you down, call Trinity at 1-800-936-5496. That's 1-800-936-5496.
Rocket 1025.
After a record-setting warm Monday in the 80s, a cool front this morning has north winds at 5 to 15 miles per hour. It'll turn to the southeast this afternoon as a lee-side low pressure develops. Skies will be sunny with highs in the mid to upper 60s. Tonight, clear with lows in the mid-30s, and tomorrow that lee-side low moves southeast across Oklahoma. Northwesterly winds will set up at 10 to 20 miles per hour as high pressure builds in with sunshine, highs in the low 70s. Thursday, winds will turn to a south-southwest direction at 20 to 30 miles per hour, elevating fire concerns with low relative humidity is present. Highs will be in the upper 70s and lows in the upper 30s. Friday, potentially a bomb cyclone spring storm moves through with strong winds in the afternoon of 60 to 70 miles per hour with the rain-snow mix west of Highways 25 and blowing dust potential to the east and south of I-70. This is meteorologist Chris Romick in the NWKS Radio Weather Center.
At Nextech Wireless, we're committed to delivering more than just quality wireless service. We're here to provide you with exceptional customer support every step of the way. Experience our service risk-free for 30 days. Plus, for a limited time, get an iPhone 16 Pro Max on us when you buy one with our best plan and handset protection. Nextech Wireless, connecting Kansans.
New year, new projects, and new deals at Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware. Start 2025 with a bang by tackling those home improvements. Refresh your space with vibrant Benjamin Moore paint or stock up on storage totes and shelves, perfect for organizing. Lumber prices are down, making it easier to tackle your next big project. Keep warm while you grill year-round with their top-notch grills and smokers from Traeger and Weber. And don't let the snow slow you down. Check out their great selection of snowblowers from Ego and Toro. It's Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware with locations in Goodland and Colby, your partner for a productive new year.
Looking for big savings on a powerful new ride? Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas has you covered. Right now, drive home a 2025 Silverado 2500 with just 3.9% financing for 60 months. Need space and style? Get $1,000 customer loyalty cash on a 2024 Chevy Suburban. Or grab a 2024 GMC Sierra 2500 Pro Diesel. Originally just over $67,000, now just over $56,000 with a huge hail discount. Swing by Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland today or shop online at hurlchev.com.
If you're shopping for a banking institution, visit with Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, and Quinter, Kansas. The Equity Bank is heavily invested in local business and activities contributing in many ways back to their community. Their employees are involved with many organizations and area events. Plus, a lot of experience comes with that staff. You'll find valuable local assistance when you bank at the Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, Quinter, and other locations in Western Kansas. The Equity Bank, member FDIC.
Farmers, what do you expect from your crop insurance agent and company? Knowledge, service, peace of mind knowing you have the coverage you need for your operation? This is what you deserve and more. This is what you have with Rain and Hail Insurance and the girls at the insurance agency in Goodland. Now is the time to stop by the office to review and change your coverage before the March 15th deadline. Stop in and see Roxanne, Susan, and Judy at the insurance agency, located at 1020 Main in Goodland, or call 899-5011 for your peace of mind.
March is here, and you know what that means. It's time to put your basketball knowledge to the test with NWKS Radio's Bracket Challenge. Think you can predict the madness? Fill out your bracket with a shot at a stack of cash and, of course, bragging rights. Whether you're a hoops expert or just flipping a coin, everyone has a chance to win. Pick up your brackets on March 17th from
Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware, Dan Brenner Ford, Colby and Goodland Automotive, and Farmers and Merchants Bank.
It's NWKS Radio's Bracket Challenge.
If your vehicle's tires are tired out, well, get tired up at Great Western Tire, where they have tire pros that know how to equip your rig with the tread and the type of tire for the way you drive. Great Western Tire carries name brands like Goodyear and take advantage of tire specials for tractors, trucks, SUVs, cars, and ATVs. Tires for your entire operation at Great Western Tire of Oakley, Colby, Hoxie, Scott City, and Sterling, Colorado. They buy in big volume with big discounts, which means big savings to you.
You ready? One, two, three, four!
It's time for the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer.
Give me my cane. I'll show you how to play this game.
And Max Gershon.
The Gershon build is short, but calves like this big. Big old calves.
The High Plains only local sports talk show. Broadcasting live on Rocket 102.5 and streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Not this again.
Yes, this again.
Covering it all from the preps.
Costa 1.7 chucks it up for the win. It's an air ball in the Colby Eagles. Victorious in Hugoton.
To the pros.
Mahomes stepping up again, tries to throw. Light caught! Touchdown! Kansas City! Travis Kelce owning this game.
The Blitz is presented by Hurl Chevrolet GMC, Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware, and F&B Bank. Along with the insurance agency, the Farmer State Bank in Oakley, the Cowboy Corner Express, and Equity Bank of Hoxie, Quinter, and Grinnell.
Let's go to work.
Max, your family cracks me up on the Facebook message every morning. Now,
me too.
Papa Gersh shouting out Mama Gersh on the Facebook. That's too good. It's too good. Thank you for the entertainment that you provide for me every day. I appreciate that. You and your family, the Gershon family build. We appreciate that. Cavs and all. Thank you so much for that.
Of course. Of course. Comes the word package deal.
Yeah, that's I have learned that, and we're perfectly fine with that here on the Morning Blitz. Happy Tuesday morning, everybody. Glad you're with us here on the Morning Blitz. It's March 11th. Nice, beautiful morning as the sun makes its way up. I love this time of year. I just love getting to see. It makes me feel like a big boy. I know that sounds dumb, but it makes me feel like a big boy when I wake up before the sun gets up. You know, it makes me feel like a big guy. So
I can see that
done and So to greet the sun while I'm up and getting on the air, it makes me feel like a big boy some days, even though I probably don't like it. Like I probably could have laid in bed another 30, 40 minutes today. My bed was nice and warm. I would have enjoyed that, but had to get up, had to get moving, and push ahead on a Tuesday. And what is once again going to be a very, very busy week with a lot of state tournament basketball coming your way. Starting tomorrow, believe it or not, we get things going with state tournaments across the state, depending on if it's boys or girls, depending on which location it is. So lots and lots of that coming your way here later this week. So yeah, we will dive more into that starting tomorrow, talking state tournament basketball. Today's program, we're going to, I guess I shouldn't say, we actually are going to start talking some state tournament basketball, but in a different way today. James Ferris, who joined us last year, is going to join us again this year, the Director of Recreation and Facilities at the Colby Event Center. He's going to join us coming up as our guest today, and we're going to talk with James about year number 2 of hosting a state tournament. Year number 1, we had him on prior to the state tournament, and it was the very first year. They never hosted it, and they had and Colby, I don't think, ever really had hosted anything like this in the past, and so it was a fascinating story about how are they going to handle things, what they need to do. And this year they have a baseline. They know what they're going to do, and now they're going to ask him how they're going to improve upon that, and look forward to visiting with James Ferris, the Director of Recreation and Facilities at the Colby Event Center, coming up here in our second segment. So that'll be an interesting conversation about what's going on at the CEC with the Class 1A Division II state basketball tournaments that'll be happening there starting on Wednesday. We'll get to some NFL free agency. My goodness, things are cooking there. Lots of news. Doesn't matter what fan base you probably are. If you're the Broncos and Chiefs, things are certainly cooking. Plenty of moves have been made for both of those teams, and some other big moves have been made as well. We'll get to some NFL free agency here. And then we will, in just a few moments, talk a little bit of the Big 12 basketball tournament, which does get going today. What are your thoughts on tournaments starting on Tuesday? I'm telling you, we're only a few years away, Max, from tournaments starting on Monday. Guarantee it.
Yeah, I mean, you got to line it up so they have time before Sunday to get all the selections in and get all the, for Selection Sunday, because that's kind of an immovable object. You can't change Selection Sunday, so you got to have the whole week, or weekdays, I should say, to play the tournament. So, I mean, I don't really know if there's a way around it unless you want to jam pack it at the end of the week.
The reason for this is once again because conferences are getting so huge.
Right. That's also true.
That's the reason why. I mean, they probably used to start on a Wednesday or a Thursday.
Yeah.
But because you've doubled in size, at least in some cases more, you are having to be a little bit, more open-minded about it. I mean, here's another question I have for you when it comes to tournament basketball. So the Big 12 is, like most conferences, I shouldn't say like most. The Big 12 is one of the conferences where it doesn't matter where you finish. Colorado finished dead last in the Big 12 tournament, or in the Big 12 standings. They still made the tournament. They will be the number 16 seed, and they will play against TCU, who they just beat, mind you, in the regular season finale. So they will play again tonight, or this afternoon, I think is 1 o'clock Mountain, 2 Central Time is when they'll play. Will Colorado and TCU on what is kind of the trippy floor there in Kansas City. If you've seen the floor design, it's a little trippy. But nonetheless, my point being is, do you like it? I mean, do you like it that way where every team gets in, or there's the ACC and the Big Ten now this year where there are a few teams that get left behind? If you don't have a good enough regular season, you don't make the tournament to have a chance to continue that. What are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, I think it's just different because of how many teams are in the Big Ten now. But I like every team making it. It makes for some obvious. I mean, as a fan, it makes for more basketball games to watch. And it makes, for chances for teams to get on runs that don't have any business to be on a run late in the year, which is always intriguing. So I definitely don't mind every team making it. I like having the 2 bye sets for the top few seeds in the Big 12. I think that's definitely an advantage that should happen. But it's also like, the top teams are going to get an at-large bid if you're in the Big 12 regardless. So, there's a lot of talk right now about the top teams throughout the regular season getting a big time advantage in the tournament so they can win the tournament and get locked into the NCAA tournament. But that doesn't really have that much of an effect in the Big 12 as far as the top teams, because they're going to make the tournament anyway. But I like seeing the top teams getting big advantages to start the tournament especially in a smaller conference. I think that's something that'll continue to be looked at, and I like that that's a debate that's going on right now. Is what the changes that need to be made in the tournaments to make sure that the top teams in smaller conferences are getting the biggest advantage possible, so they can get a lock into the tournament.
Just go to that flying V bracket formation,
right?
Sun Belt. That'll fix that problem.
That's the big advantage. It's almost as big as you can get. Now that might be a little extreme with how many games every other team has to play, but it's something like that is not too. I don't think it's too crazy.
It is kind of a give and take thing though, because you want to be able to give teams, of course, that had really bad seasons a chance to see the Cinderella, because that's what that's what brings eyeballs to the television usually are the Cinderellas. And so you want to, I mean, there was a fascinating story of the weekend that we didn't talk about in Weekend Winners and Losers, but probably I should have now that I think about it. But Kevin Keats, who was the head coach at NC State, he was let go of his position here this past weekend. Don't forget, folks, NC State was in the Final Four just last year. They made that amazing run. I think they were like the 11 seed in the ACC tournament and made a run all the way through that, got there. Then I think we're like an 11 seed and won everything to the Final Four.
What was that big man's name?
Yeah, he was a big guy.
DJ Burns. That's right.
Yeah, DJ Burns.
He was tough in the tournament for sure.
Yeah. So anyway, that all goes today. K-State, Arizona State today. We'll get to some more on the thoughts of the bracket coming up here in just a little bit. All right. So I don't know if Max wants to do this right now or not, but we're going to do it, I think, just because it's so funny. And we've not said this many times before, but it's so fascinating when you do a talk radio show, how many interesting topics actually happen off the air that actually become fascinating. And so, one day Max and I were discussing off the air about a basketball game, and we came across this interesting discussion here we'll have here for a couple minutes, but trash talking in sports. Are you for it or are you against it? And so an interesting debate here is trash talking good or bad? And we first of all know where we are going to go, but I guess if you want to chime in on the FB Bank text line at 785-899-2222, we'd love to hear your opinion on trash talking. Is it good or bad? Now, in that, I mean, is it good and bad for the sport? Good and bad for how would you finish that sentence? Good and bad for the game? How would you finish that?
Well, I view it as from a player standpoint.
Okay,
when I view trash talking, I was thinking about this morning, and the first example that pops into my head was high school baseball. My senior year, we were playing Shawnee Mission South, I think it was. And they had a younger pitcher on the mound who could not throw a strike to save his life. And we were on him in the dugout. I mean, we were chirping him so hard, talking crazy and reckless, and he couldn't throw a strike, and we kept getting on him, and he walked in about 3 or 4 runs because we were on his head. And it's stuff like that. It has an impact on the game. So I think if you are a true winner and you want to win no matter what, I think trash talking is part of the game, because there is a mental side to whatever sport it is: baseball, basketball, football, soccer, hockey, doesn't matter. Trash talking can affect a player's game depending on how mentally strong they were. You want to test someone's mental capacity, mental strength. Trash talking is the way to do it. And I think that is one reason why, as a player, trash talking is so good. And if you can do it well, because there's a little bit of an art to it. And if you can do it well, and you can successfully get under someone's skin, it can really change an outcome of a game. I really do believe that. And also the second part of why I think trash talking is good is because it brings energy, not only on the court that shows, but it brings energy to your team. It brings that confident energy. And I think energy is one of the biggest parts of any sport. It shifts momentum. When you're able to trash talk successfully, because you can fail in trash talk. That's totally true. You can trash talk and then miserably fail. And that's kind of what you set yourself up for. But when you trash talk and succeed, that energy is through the roof. It is through the roof. And that can really be a momentum shifter in any sport. I'm telling you, this stuff has an effect, especially at a high school level. If we're talking about high school sports and even into college, it's a little different on the professional level because these guys just do it. They just do it for a living. They're used to it by now. But I'm telling you what, when they're in high school sports, trash talking it can really change an outcome of a game. I'm telling you.
As I figured, we'd have people chiming in throughout the text line and people giving their opinions. I do agree with Brian on Facebook. Larry Bird was a master in trash talking. No, I would agree. See, I think there is, in my opinion, to me, if you want, I don't mind if you want to, if you want to play to the crowd, if you want to pump up the crowd, if you want to celebrate with your team, if you want to do that stuff, I'm okay with that. It's when you belittle the opponent that I don't like it. That's that. And once again, that would be more considered your trash talking, to be honest with you. That's what I don't like about it. I don't think that you need that to prove. Let your, as Larry would say, if you don't talk the talk if you can't walk the walk. So if Max Gershon is saying, chirping to the pitcher out there, yet goes up there and strikes out, that's pretty darn dumb. So that's why I've always been a proponent of just saying, we don't need to be any sort of trash talking or thing. We talk, in the words of in football, we would say, we talk with our pads. We talk with these. We talk with our pads. We talk with our game in basketball. We talk with our bats in baseball. We talk by dominating the opponent. That's how we talk. We don't need to use our mouths and run our mouths to do that. So that's where I'm at. I don't need someone to go and knock down a big time jumper and then run down the floor and do the little thing. Oh, put the hand down. You're too little to guard me or something like that. I don't need that. I don't need that crap. Go make your shot, get back down the floor, and then do it again the next time. That's how you shut up people. That's how you do it. You do it by letting your game show you how it's done. That's how I believe. Now, once again, I understand the mental side, and trust me, I get your point entirely because, yes, if you're not mentally tough and you got a bunch of chirpers out there, I understand it. That can get inside your head. Totally get that. But I just would I would say the it's not the cooler thing. I want to see if it's the tougher thing, but to me, a real sign of a great player, no matter what sport it is when they don't talk, but they still dominate, because it doesn't matter what you want to say. And I don't need to say anything to you because what I'm doing on the field or on the court is doing my talking for me. That's what I think. That's what I like about it.
Well, I think it's definitely
people who do the trash talking usually are the ones who aren't talented enough to keep up with the big dogs. So they use the trash talking to try to gain an edge. They're not as talented. Usually that's the case.
Yeah, I mean, to an extent, I think that it's it just depends on the level, you know. It does. I think a lot more in professional sports, you'll see, you know, the greats just kind of let their game work, but it's just different in the younger levels. But I think you got to know when and where, obviously. I'm not going to, you know, if I'm on the basketball court and this guy's averaging 30 points and we're up by 3 in the first quarter and I knock down a 3, I'm not going to, you know, try to piss him off. I'm not going to try to fire this guy up that I know is better than me, you know. So you kind of got to know your role, you know who to mess around with and who not to, because you don't want to, you know, the other side of talking trash is you can get a guy fired up and that could end up costing you a game. So you got to know when and where and when to talk trash is a good time. So there's an art to it, Ross. There really is an art to it. And some people are good, some people aren't. But I just think that it is a valuable thing to do. A lot of the times there is some real value in, if you do it right, in talking trash, because it can really it can affect the game. And if you want to win, and look, like in high school, I even if I wasn't playing, or even if me and other people weren't playing, we were talking trash on the bench. We were trying to get in people's heads on the field because we knew they could hear us. And you know that that kind of stuff can change the outcome of games. And if you want to win, that's kind of stuff you got to do sometimes. So it just depends. It's obviously right place, right time, and who you're talking trash to. But there's also a difference between talking trash and taunting, you know, and I think that's more of the little thing and that stuff.
So talking trash, would that mean, see, to me,
that's like words.
Right. I get it. You're taunting. But see, to me, I don't mind if you want to talk like I think about, you know, Brian's comment about Larry Bird. Larry Bird, he talked trash in a different way. He would say, watch this. I'm going to dribble 3 times to the left, pull up from 15 feet and bury it in your face. He would talk trash that way.
Right.
Pretty much pumping himself up. I could get behind that. Like if you're going to talk, you're not, the thing that gets to me is when you are belittling your opponent. That is when that's when you've crossed the line. When you have belittled your opponent, you have disgraced your opponent. That is when you've crossed the line. How you do that in the sport is by beating them, and by beating them in the game that you're playing, whether that's football, baseball, basketball, soccer, whatever that may be. That's how you do that. That's what I see. Trash, like I said, the ones who have to talk trash and belittle their opponent in order to get the mental edge, those are the things that I don't agree with. What was it? David chimes in the EpiBank text line, 785-899-2220, says Draymond Green made a living doing that, which he did. He did make a living doing that.
He did. And there's a lot of Patrick Beverly has made a career doing that. There's guys that literally that's all they do. And it works sometimes. Look, it's not always going to work. And they're going to miserably fail a lot, and they're going to look like clowns. But those guys like that, especially in the NBA, that literally all they do is talk trash, and that's who they are, and it gets under people's skins. And then and people get technical fouls out of it. That's the other side, You could rile someone up so much they get a T. Who knows? But I definitely see what you're saying, but at the same time, there's just something about it that makes the game so much more competitive. I as a fan, now removing myself from a player and the aspects of trash talking, as a fan, when I see like a really good rivalry, for example, well, like let's say Mahomes and Max Crosby, the one game where they were going head to head and they were screaming at each other, and it woke up Mahomes and they came back from that 17-0 deficit. Okay. Like those moments, those trash talking moments in professional sports, as a fan, that creates such a different vibe to the game and such a different outlook on what's happening on the field. Devin Booker and Luka Doncic, whenever they play, they are always in each other's faces, just talking nonstop. And you can tell they actually don't like each other. When you see that happening in professional sports, and you can tell there's a rivalry there, a real rivalry, not just like Chiefs Raiders or like, the Cardinals Royals or whatever it is. There's a rivalry between two players that are playing against each other on the field, and you can tell they don't like each other because they are talking to each other nonstop throughout the game, and it's not friendly stuff that's being said. That creates such a different vibe and such an electric atmosphere and viewing experience from a fan. When you can tell there's some trash talking going on. I love it. I love watching that happen. I love it.
That's why it's a debate. That's why it's interesting. I said, Brian chimes in on the text line. He talks about why the refs don't stop the trash talking to players. He goes, if I'm a ref or a coach, that doesn't happen. They're getting teed or benched.
Why? I'd love to. Well, high school, sure, I get that. But if you were, I don't know if I agree with the fact of teeing two players up for talking trash to each other. I get if they're talking to the ref. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I mean
they're talking to each other.
Foremost, that's a whole different deal. If you're talking trash to the ref, you probably need to get taught.
Right. That's different. But there's examples.
I believe he's talking about why are you talking trash to the opposition, I think is what he means.
Okay. Well, in high school, there's a line, definitely. And if the ref catches you saying something that you shouldn't be saying, then you're probably going to get teched. Probably going to get teed up.
Yeah. So I don't know. It is a fascinating debate. Not surprised. Plenty of people have chimed in. Kevin chimes in on YouTube, says a little trash talk is part of the game, but hitting opponents with the too small and other stuff is demeaning and it's uncalled for. I would agree for that. I would agree on that. Like I said, I don't mind a little bit of trash talking. Once again, it's when you start demeaning your opponent. That's when I don't like it. That's when I don't like it very much at all.
I agree with what my grandpa just said, actually. He said, he said he doesn't like when pitchers act like robots on the mound, which, has benefits too. But I think that there's almost no position more deserving. I think pitchers and maybe cornerbacks in football are the most deserving people to talk trash and celebrate when they do something good because they have a very hard job. But, hitters can flip their bat and do dances around the bases and stuff. But I think, pitchers, they have the right to do whatever they want because it is hard. They are getting chirped at from every which way, and they are hearing everything, and they got to get on the mound and lock in and throw a fastball 100 miles per hour by someone. That is a different feeling. When you're able to blow a fastball by someone that's talking trash to you, that's a different feeling. And I love to see pitchers show emotion after striking out someone big. You see it a lot in college baseball.
I think emotion is great.
But
emotion is awesome. There was a
kid in Oh, I cannot remember what team he was on. But he closed out the game. He flipped his hat. This was this year. He flipped his hat off his head, and he was looking at their dugout and like waving them on. Like, I don't know if you're getting chirped at all game as a pitcher, that's you have the full right to celebrate. And remember the Louisville pitcher in the college playoffs of probably 4 or 5 years ago.
Oh yeah, stared right down the barrel.
Stared right, and you could see exactly what he mouthed to that guy.
Yep.
That's I love that stuff because guess what? It backfired on him. They lost that game. It backfired, and that's part of it. That's part of it. But as a fan of sports, I love that stuff. It is great.
I understand it. I get it from both sides. But like I said, to me, once again, to put a bow on it, to me, if you're going to trash talk, okay, you better be able to back it up. But once you start belittling your opponents, I think that's where it goes a little bit over the top.
It creates a game within a game.
Oh, no doubt. Real quick, before we get to break, we mentioned the Big 12 basketball tournament for the men gets rolling today. There are 4 first-round games. You will have starting things off this morning at 11 a.m. I believe it is Central, 10:30 Mountain. It's early. Cincinnati, Oklahoma State in the 13-12, followed by Colorado, TCU in the 16-9. And then you've got Kansas State, Arizona State tonight. That is a 5 Mountain, 6 Central tip, which you can hear on 100 Point Through the Ride. And it'll be on, these games are all on, by the way, ESPN Plus if you'd like to watch them. And then 14th ranked UCF, or number 14th seed for UCF against Utah, the 11 seed. That is the late game tonight, which that winner there will play Kansas in the final game. Boy, that'll be a late tip. Jiminy Christmas, late tip there on tomorrow, on Wednesday night. So there. Anything stand out to you about the bracket real quickly that you want to point out at all about the Big 12 bracket?
No, but I think Colorado could upset. I think Colorado will upset TCU.
I think the problem is they beat them just a few days ago. That's the problem. They beat them on Sunday. Now they beat them by 20, which to me says I don't think TCU was there. They're like, well, we're locked. We're going to play these guys again. What does it matter?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I like Colorado. I do think Colorado, when they play well, is better than the record for sure. It'll be interesting to see what K-State does. And
once again, we've talked about this before. This is probably the most talented team playing on day one.
Yeah.
Kansas State.
And then, KU plays the winner of Utah, UCF, you said, right?
Yes, Utah, correct? UCF is who KU plays.
Lost to Utah. So, I don't know. I don't think it really matters too much. I think UCF has played them well once this year too. And it'll be interesting to see. That's going to be a decent game as well. So some fun Big 12 games for sure.
Yep, no doubt about it. That'll all get going today. Once again, that's, I believe, at 11:30 Central Time. Yes, 11:30 Central Time, 10:30 Mountain Time on ESPN Plus with Cincinnati, Oklahoma State. That is game number 1 here today. All right, let's get to a break. We'll come back. We're going to talk some state tournament basketball from the facilities side with James Ferris, who helped runs the Colby Event Center. We'll talk to him about getting ready for the 1A D2 state basketball tournament, which is going tomorrow. You're listening to the Morning Blitz here on a Tuesday.
At FNB Bank, we know family comes first. Whether you're opening a savings account for your kids, buying a new home, or planning for the future, we're here to help every step of the way. With personalized service and flexible options, we make banking easy for your growing family. FNB Bank, serving families, strengthening communities. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
It's time for a check of the markets with the Anderson Trade Group on the Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio Network.
Good morning, this is Kate Thompson with the Anderson Trade Group. Today is Tuesday, March 11th. On the overnight last night, May corn higher 2.5 at 474.5. July up 2 1/4 at 480 3/4. September up 1 3/4 at 453. December corn up 1 1/4 at 456 1/4. May soybeans up 3 3/4 on the overnight to 1017 3/4. July up 4 1/4 at 1034 1/4. August up 3 3/4 at 1029 1/4. September beans up 3 1/4 at 1016 1/4. Chicago wheat, the May contract lower 4.5 on the overnight at 558. July down 4 at 573 1/4. September down 3.5 at 590. December soft wheat down 3 1/4 at 612. Kansas City leads in a contract lower 3 3/4 at 574 3/4. July down 3 1/4 at 588. September down 3 at 602 1/4. December hard week down 3 cents at 622 1/2. Don't forget today is a report day. On the stock market this morning, the Dow down $22 at 41,925. The S&P down $2, 5,618. The Nasdaq down 4.5 at 19,448. Gold higher $19.30 an ounce at $2,918.17. Crude oil up 70 cents a barrel at $66.73. If you have any questions about marketing grain or would like to talk about risk management options, give our Colorado office a call, John Hankey or John Stiles at 970-744-4484, or in our Kansas City office, myself, Tom Pluto, Jared Law, Tyler Dosh at 913-748-3000.
The Anderson Trade Group, proud market partners with Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio. Find out more at andersongrain.com. The risk of loss through trading futures and or options is substantial, and each investor and or trader must consider whether this is a suitable investment. Past performance, whether actual or indicated, is not indicative of future results. The Anderson Trade Group has no guarantee that the advice given will result in profitable trades.
LivestockMarket.com offers all the tools you need for a successful production sale. The easy-to-use online platform makes it super easy to take bids from anywhere.
Improving the well water quality while keeping most of that nitrogen available to the plant.
Ask your local ag retailer for Thiosol and KTS.
New year, new projects, and new deals at Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware. Start 2025 with a bang by tackling those home improvements. Refresh your space with vibrant Benjamin Moore paint or stock up on storage totes and shelves, perfect for organizing. Lumber prices are down, making it easier to tackle your next big project. Keep warm while you grill year-round with their top-notch grills and smokers from Traeger and Weber. And don't let the snow slow you down. Check out their great selection of snowblowers from Ego and Toro. It's Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware with locations in Goodland and Colby, your partner for a productive new year.
You're listening to the High Plains only local sports talk show.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
The Morning Blitz.
So, Max, just for fun during the break, I had to go look and see how that Sun Belt tournament turned out, you know, with the Flying V bracket. I was looking to see which team had the longest run from the back end. Old Dominion was a 10 seed. They actually won 3 games, made it all the way to the quarterfinals.
Wow.
They won 3 in a row to get to the quarterfinals before they lost the eventual Sun Belt champs, Troy, who had to win. They had to win themselves just 2 games in order to make it to. Let's say that bracket is fascinating because everyone gets in, and boy, if you had a bad year, you got a lot of work to do.
Yeah,
that's a fascinating
I like it.
thing there.
The more I look at it, the more I like it. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it has its benefits. Waiting patiently on the Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware hotline is our friend from the Colby Event Center, Director of Recreation Facilities there at the CEC, James Ferrister. Now, James, good morning. How are we doing today?
Hey, doing great, guys. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
James, how prepared are you for tomorrow, you and the crew? You all ready to go? Everything's all set up, shiny, sparkly, clean?
It will be by tomorrow at 2 o'clock. So we're getting there. We had a volunteer meeting last night. We got a bunch of great people in the community to help out last year and make it all possible. And yeah, I think we're on the right track to get where we need to be.
James, I want to go back to last year where it all came to an end. You know, I think for the most part, it went pretty successful. What were some of your kind of closing thoughts as you wrapped up the state tournament, first ever time being hosted there at Colby Event Center? And what were your thoughts like, okay, what can we do to get better? And also, what was the process of Keisha coming to you saying, we want to come back to you guys again for a second year in a row?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, last year, the biggest thing with us having in Colby for the first year, just the hesitant of people coming from the east part of the state. I think we had a lot of teams coming here that had that preconceived, thought about Colby, just because of the drive and where we're located. We can't pick up our town and move our town. So our thought was just, get here to Colby, give us a chance to show you what our community can do, show you our nice new facility. And I think the people that came with an open mind, I think most people left here and they were very satisfied. A lot of the compliments we got, Dana Brockelman, she does an amazing job with our hospitality room and the concession stand. We got a lot of people pretty pumped about that last year when they were leaving. The decorations that the Colby Visitors Bureau helped us put together. Big carpet decal was a huge hit when people walked in, decorations throughout town. But yeah, overall, I think the people that came in with that open mindset and embraced a new site location left pretty pleased for the most part. And, we're fortunate enough that Keisha thought we did a good enough job to bring it back here in 2025. So.
Yeah, well, what did Keisha say about it after the first year? What were their thoughts when talking with you guys?
Yeah, I think they were pretty pleased with everything that happened. Some of the concerns that they had was just it being a brand new facility and the first time ever hosting this kind of event, and just making sure at the end of the tournament, your goal is to crown 2 champions. And we were able to do that and stay on schedule with no, we didn't run behind, didn't have any major issues or anything like that, which is, probably the biggest thing from my perspective, is just making sure the games are on schedule and that we crown champions. And then all the bells and whistles and the extras. I think Kyle from Keisha and the 3 reps that came out here, we had, like I said, our state volunteer committee that we met last night. I think Keisha was kind of blown away by the hospitality and just the people that we had on site here, how they were greeting and welcoming not only the Keisha personnel, but all the people traveling from across the state. And it was a welcoming atmosphere. And I think that that was perceived by Keisha. I don't know what the future holds, but I know that we have at least 2 years here to put on a good showing and show what we can do. And, that's what we're going to try to do. And if we get it again next year, great. If not, maybe 4 or 5 down the road, we can get a volleyball or wrestling or, maybe a basketball. So we'll see what happens, I guess.
James, in your mind, what's the most fun part about setting up a big tournament like this?
I'd probably say just when that first tip goes off and you see everything finally come together, and you can kind of not really sit back and just relax a little bit, but all your volunteers are in place, all your staff's in place, teams are here, everybody's loud, they're enjoying the game, the atmosphere, and crowning the champions at the end of the tournament is pretty awesome. Those are memories for those kids. It's a lifetime for them and their communities, and being able to see that and be a part of it on the court, it's pretty special. So Saturday night when we're crowning 2 champions, that's probably the highlight for me of the tournament.
Where are a couple areas that you are hoping to improve upon from year 1 to year 2 here this upcoming next few days?
Yeah, I think overall, just from my perspective, probably making sure we have staff in place in every single station at the correct time. I mean, I think my staff list right now, I got 57 volunteers total. And that's a lot from all the different areas and door monitors. And it's just a lot of communicating back and forth, because I'll have people that, some day get sick, they can't make it, or something comes up one way or the other. But I guess the biggest challenge for me from last year is just constantly staying on top of that and making sure every station is staffed. And that's why we formed a state committee to have people in place as well to go in and make sure those stations are staffed at all times, because otherwise it's a lot of running around for me. And, but I'd say probably just keeping up on the volunteers and making sure all of our stations are staffed is the biggest stressor that from last year to this year that I'm trying to improve on.
James Ferris is our guest, Director of Recreation and Facilities at the Colby Event Center. They're getting set to host the 1A Division II State Basketball Championships, which will get going tomorrow there in Colby at the Event Center. How do you feel like the Event Center the facility has been to host an event like this? When it was being designed and created and then eventually built, it was with in mind to host an event like this. Has it lived up to all the expectations when it comes to trying to host a big event like this?
I sure hope so. And that was probably the main goal when they were building this facility. That was the goal, the vision, have a state tournament here, and be able to consistently host one every year. And 3 years in, we're able to, pull that off, and that's awesome. But outside of just state tournaments, we've been able to do a lot of cool things with you guys, with the radio station, with concerts, trade shows. I mean, as soon as we're done with state tournament Saturday, we have our Better Home and Living Gun and Coin show with you guys the next weekend. So it's on from one thing to the next, So outside of just the sports, we've been able to do a lot of cool things as well. The past few weeks, we've hosted sub-state games for Colby High School, Hoxie High School, Atwood High School. Some of this place has been busy with sub-state games the past few weeks. So I hope that the community, you know, I know it was a big deal when this was voted on to make this happen. There's probably a lot of people that were hesitant if it was going to get utilized. And I just hope that we're doing a job from our standpoint of filling the facility up with, you know, not only sporting events, but other cool things as well, concerts, trade shows, graduations, just trying to keep it as busy as possible year round.
Is there any concern, James, that, you know, because the Colby girls made it to state, you're not going to have as many volunteers as you would have in the previous year?
There's a little bit of concern there. Obviously, it's great. We have, you know, Colby girls and Goodland boys, Northwest Kansas teams representing Hutch, and we're hoping they go down there and have success while we do our thing here. But that definitely eliminates quite a bit of the pool of volunteers, which, you know, it is what it is. But we have a great community here, and we've had plenty of people step up even in that situation. And I'm sure there'll be plenty of people in the meeting rooms, the hospitality rooms, watching the Colby girls at 4:00 tomorrow. So paying close attention to how they're doing.
Yeah, you're going to have to stay on your staff to make sure that they focus on their jobs at hand, all right? The task at hand.
Yeah, for sure. So,
James Ferris, once again, our guest here, Director of Recreation and Facilities at the Colby Event Center. What, you know, you talked, I've heard a lot of things about that. You mentioned the hospitality room. It's a popular thing. Why is the hospitality room at Colby so popular?
I don't know what it is. That's one of the things hosting a tournament. I knew it would be a big deal. Never thought it'd be as big of a deal as it is. People love having good food when they're at a tournament. I get it. You know, an official has a game. They want to go have a good meal, coaches. And it's just something that's kind of surprised me a little bit of how important that goes into a tournament. But we definitely try to make sure we take care of things on that end, and make it, you know, it's just one of those big aspects to hosting a tournament. You want to have a good hospitality room. You want to have everything look nice. The new video board outside, we just got that up last week. That adds to it as well. You know, those bells and whistles go into it. But at the end of the day, like I said earlier, we want games to stay on track. We want to crown 2 champions at the end of the tournament. And, you know, make sure everything functions properly on the court, first and foremost.
One more on just kind of the tournament as a whole. How do you feel like the town has done? You know, because it's not just the event center, but, you know, you need other gyms to go practice in. You need hotel rooms for teams to stay at. How do you feel like the town has done in welcoming this tournament? I mean, I'm sure they've done the best they possibly could, but how do you think they've gotten better here, possibly in year 2, prepared for the second year?
Oh yeah, great. I mean, it's a full-on community effort. Like I mentioned earlier, the Colby Visitors Bureau, the CVB board, there's a board of about 10 of those people, and they've been great in helping us donate funds and get some of this marketing materials throughout town. Kylie Johnson's director there. She's been great to work with, and Penny Vogler. And then the college, Kenny Hernandez, the AD, they let us use their stat system, and that's a huge help. There's just so many different little parts from the community that pitch in to make it happen. And it's greatly appreciated by myself and everybody from our facility as well. But it's without a doubt a community effort. And I feel like they've embraced it very well. And there's a lot of people from the community that won't be going to Hutch, but will come to watch our girls, but might sneak in here to watch games all 4 days. Last year, I saw people from the community that sat here. You know, there's 4 games every day, and they sat here all 4 games, all 4 days, 16 games, and watched all of it and loved it. So
probably in the same exact seat too.
Yeah. Didn't move much.
Max, do you have a question for him? Looks like you had a question on your face. I
had a personal question that's unrelated to this tournament, which I know is going to be great. And it was cool hearing about all the setup and stuff. If I wanted to join a rec sports team this summer, how would I go about doing that?
Basically, if you just contact myself or Bruce Arnberger, Bruce Arnberger is our adult sports director. We will write your name down, and it seems like every time, whether it's co-ed softball, co-ed volleyball, whatever that be, every Sunday we play, there's always people's team short players. So we have a list kind of in our office that we have of people, and if a manager reaches out to us, we're more than happy to share that contact information with those people looking for more players. And we do offer some pickup nights basketball. Those will kind of start back up again in probably April once we get through with busy season of basketball. We try to host pickup nights a few nights a week here, and we're were pretty popular last year. I think we had about 20, 30 guys every time we hosted a pickup night here playing. So we'll definitely dive into that more once this tournament gets done.
Well, we have no doubt that you'll be very busy the next few days. What time does the alarm go off, and what time does the head hit the pillow for James Ferris on tournament days?
Oh man, I don't know. There's not much. There's not much downtime. I'm not for sure when it is.
Is there a cot in the office?
After midnight and then before 6, probably about every day.
Do you just stay at the facility? I mean, you got showers and everything there. You might as well just get a cot and call it good, right?
I've done it before. I did not last year for this. I'm hoping I don't have to this year, but you never know.
James, thank you so much for your time. Best of luck to you and all your volunteers and crew over there in Colby with the 1A D2 state tournament at the CEC. Thank you so much, and we'll catch up soon.
Yeah, thank you guys for what you do. You do a great job. Appreciate it.
Thanks, James. Once again, great stuff there from James Ferris talking about the Colby Event Center hosting the 1A Division II state tournament. Of course, if you want to play any type of rec league ball like Max does, you can just.
I had to ask because I'm interested. I'm interested in that. Might need to be at the pickup games.
You just go drive into the CEC. He's got an office there. He'll point you in the right direction.
I have to stop by. I'm gonna have to stop by, check it out.
He'll point you in the right direction for all that stuff. But yeah, big time event going on. The one thing I am interested to hear about more about the tournament after it is, I know one thing that was I don't know, I want to say it was a concern. It was just one thing that was brought to the attention, I think, was what did the teams do? Like, for example, so their games will be played on Wednesday, right?
Right.
And then they have a day off Thursday while the boys or the girls, I don't know how the schedule goes for Colby, but what are they going to do during that day? And I know last year, talking about, they were trying to find things to make sure that the kids had something to do, because you just can't go practice the whole dang gone day. You got to have something to do, entertain yourself. And so I'm fascinated to know how that goes. And this year I'd heard that there were some thoughts on, well, what can we do to make that a little bit better? So I'm fascinated to see how that all changes out here in the coming days. So, but I have no doubt they'll do a great job there over at the CEC. Okay, 7:51 Mountain, 8:51 Central Time here on a Tuesday, March 11th. We'll take a break, come back. We'll wrap the show with some NFL free agency. The stove is hot. It is cooking. And we will get to that next here on the Morning Blitz.
Big savings are waiting at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland. Up into 25 GMC Sierra 1500 with $2,750 in rebates or 2.9% financing for 48 months. Plus, don't miss your chance to save big on their last hail vehicle, a 24 GMC Sierra 2500 Pro Diesel, originally just over $67,000, now just over $56,000. Deals this good won't last. Hurry to Hurl Chevrolet GMC today or shop online at hurlchev.com.
Phones nowadays can do practically anything, including feed you.
And now they cannot.
Well, that is if you download the McDonald's app. Use the McDonald's app to get deals on the food you love, including McCafé, soft drinks, fries, and so much more. Plus, keep up to date on what's trending at McDonald's with the latest promotions, events, new products, and specials. You can even order and pay from the app. So download it today and score from your local McDonald's at Burlington, Colby, Goodland, and Lamar.
The Farmers State Bank of Oakley has been financing agriculture since the day we opened our doors. Hello, this is Corbin, and we are proud to be your locally owned partner in ag. We invite you to come and visit with us when you need to purchase new or used farm equipment, or need any type of agriculture or business loan. We have the knowledge, experience, and financial resources to keep you growing. The Farmers State Bank of Oakley, a tradition of community and agriculture for over 115 years. Member FDIC.
Farmers, what do you expect from your crop insurance agent and company? Knowledge, service, peace of mind knowing you have the coverage you need for your operation? This is what you deserve and more. This is what you have with Rain and Hail Insurance and the girls at the insurance agency in Goodland. Now is the time to stop by the office to review and change your coverage before the March 15th deadline. Stop in and see Roxanne, Susan, and Judy at the insurance agency, located at 1020 Main in Goodland, or call 899-5011 for your peace of mind.
It's game time.
What time is it? Game time!
You're listening to the Morning Blitz.
Thanks again to James Ferris for joining us earlier today, talking about the CEC and the state basketball tournament. Once again, best of luck to all of them over there running that. And like I said, it'd be interesting because I guarantee there were a lot of players, parents, and even players of the Colby Lady Eagles that probably volunteered over there. And so we'll see how that all goes without them being there on Wednesday. And good chance probably playing through the weekend. So All right, NFL free agency is rolling along. Boy, I tell you, it's like they dropped the flag and everybody was somewhere in some point in time. We'll start quickly just with Chiefs and Broncos news. We'll start with Denver just for fun. Denver has made a couple of defensive signings. They have decided they are going to bring on, I think, a very talented safety, a 3-year deal to Talanoa Hufanga, who was with the 49ers. How'd you like that name pronunciation?
That was good. You did good.
I didn't think it was too bad.
No, I think that was right.
Yeah, and so Talanoa Hufanga will be going to the Denver Broncos. He's a really talented young safety, only 26 years old, so a really nice pickup there for them. And they're also bringing in veteran linebacker Dre Greenlaw. Both those guys were with the San Francisco 49ers this last year. So they made a couple of deals. They did lose Javon Williams, the running back. Javonte Williams, sorry. He is headed – where's he going? I don't know why.
Dallas.
Dallas. There we go. Thank you. Speaking of running backs, another 49er player, Elijah Mitchell, he is going to the Kansas City Chiefs for being running back there. And the Chiefs did officially bring in an offensive tackle, Jalen Moore. Those are the moves I
also from the 49ers.
I missed. Yeah, from the 49ers. So
49ers
coming 49ers, if you want to know the truth is, they are in cap HE double hockey stick. Yeah. And they have got to get rid of guys. And
they got rid of Debo and they got rid of someone else.
You know, that kind of flew under the radar if you think about it. Debo to the Commanders, that really flew under the radar.
For a fifth. And then Charvarius Ward, they lost as well. He's going to the Colts.
My goodness.
So they've lost everyone. They've lost everyone. But I got to tell you, I would give the Chiefs a B overall on their moves. So, no, I'd give them a B plus overall on their moves because I think they've done a lot of things that they needed to do, and they brought in the left tackle, which I like. I would give the Broncos an A.
Yeah,
Broncos I
honestly think the Broncos and the Bears have had the two best free agencies to this point today. The Bears have brought in Grady Jarrett and two or three offensive linemen. They've done a ton there. The Bears have. Anyway, go ahead.
I tweeted out yesterday that Denver's defense got a lot grosser, and they did. And they have a good defense already, and they just added two really, really, really sound defensive football players that I couldn't like those moves more for the Denver Broncos. So I'm a big fan of that. I think the Chiefs' big stories are just retaining guys. I was surprised they were able to retain Bolton and Smith as well as bring back Hollywood Brown. So promising stuff and bring the left tackle in. So it's good. Everything has really gone as Brett Veach wanted it so far. And now it's going to be about what happens in the draft. I think I don't see them making another free agent deal, maybe something small for a veteran receiver, possibly. But besides that, I've liked what both teams have had to offer in free agency, and that's just the start of. I mean, there's where do you even go after that nationally? I mean, Sam Darnold to the Seahawks. I don't know. What do you think about Sam Darnold, Ross? I don't know. I'm confused about him. Is he going to be good again next year?
I don't know. I think Kevin O'Connell is kind of a quarterback whisperer for the Vikings, and so I think that probably helped. And he also had a great wide receiver to throw to, and their best wide receiver is now at the Steelers in DK Metcalf. Now there's still Tyler Lockett. I still think he's there.
Lockett's gone.
Okay. Jackson Smith and Jigba is still there, and boy, he was a dude in college. So they have some pieces. I don't know. Look, if you're Sam Darnold, you went from probably looking at early retirement from NFL football a few years ago to a year or so ago to now making $100 million somewhere. I mean, come on. Do you blame the guy? I mean, he's making big time money. Is he going to have success in Seattle? I don't know if there's going to be much around him for him to have success. And I think that's the problem. Once again, it's hard for quarterbacks to have a lot of success when you don't have anything around you. That is difficult.
And then some other big news, of course, the Rams are planning on releasing Cooper Kupp by the start of when they're able to. I know they can't yet if they can't figure out a trade in that time. So they get Devontae Adams, pay him a tall price for the production he had last year, 2 years, $46 million. Joey Bosa released by the Chargers. And then you have...
I thought Jonathan Allen going to the Vikings on a 3-year deal. That was pretty good for that defense.
Yes, and then... you have Justin Fields going to the Jets. Who knows what that will look like? Broncos backup quarterback Zach Wilson goes to the Dolphins. And Aaron Rodgers still has not
In
decided where he wants
limbo.
to go, but he's probably going to go to Pittsburgh, if I was to guess.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. But lots
Who
of
knows
NFL free
where-
agency, and we're going to see lots more coming up.
Who knows where Russell Wilson goes to? That's another one. So we'll see. Lot left. Yeah, you're right. A lot left to see.
Yeah, so much to find out. And just like I said, just the last few days, it's just been nuts. And
Right, it's been crazy.
It'll continue through this week and beyond. All right, we need to get to the walk-off.
And back lifts his ball high and deep to right. How about a walk-off Brady? Thomas to the 10. Denver's going on to New England. They win it on the first play of overtime. Mahomes swings it. It's there. Hardman. Jackpot. Kansas City.
All right, question for Max here after this real quickly. Tonight, Colby Community College Lady Trojan basketball back on the hardwood after an upset win over Cloud County. They tip off at the Hutchins Sports Arena at 5:30 Central Time tonight. Good luck to the Lady Trojans and head coach Darren Spence, friend of the program, good luck to those as they go down there. Very tough, tall task ahead, trying to knock off Hutch in Hutch. We talked about K-State and Colorado both opening up play in Big 12 tournament today. There is some baseball and softball. Should be some nice weather for it today. Yesterday, Fortis Tech Northwest softball had a couple of makeup games. They lost to Cloud County 14-0, 13-10. Colby Community College softball has a doubleheader against, I've never heard of this school, Dakota College at Bottineau. I've never heard of them. Anyway, they have a doubleheader today at 1 o'clock Central Time at Carl Adams Field. And Colby Community College baseball got some nice momentum going on here a little bit. They have Otero on the road today for a doubleheader for some baseball. Tommy John surgery for Garrett Cole. He says he's going to go find a second opinion. I mean, don't you just go get the surgery and move on?
I don't know. I have no idea. You know, that's a big part of the Yankees team. You know, they are not the same without their ace, and it sucks to see because he's fun to watch. But I think you just get the surgery. I think you get the surgery. I do have one thing for the walk-off, and that's about the Denver Nuggets and Nikola Jokic really quickly. They're playing him, and they have gone back-to-back against the Thunder, losing one, winning one. You know, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Nikola Jokic are kind of battling for the MVP right now. Gilgeous-Alexander kind of took the MVP chain in game one, played really well, and then Jokic last night, 35, 18, and 8. Winning 140 to 127. So Jokic is still my MVP. I just want to put that out there. But SGA is he's up there too. So fun battle.
No, that's a fascinating one to watch as they come down the stretch in the NBA season. We're going to talk more NBA next week because it'll be spring break. We can have our guest on. All right, that'll do it for us. We'll see you tomorrow here on the Blitz.